The Associated Press has called the presidency for Republican Donald Trump. I
remember election night pretty clearly. I mean, as clearly as I can remember it after several edibles and drinks. And the thing I remember most clearly was not anger or frustration, but this feeling that was so much worse. When I woke up the next morning, I expected when I woke up and checked the Times or whatever that I'd have one of two reactions. Either A, slight relief, or B, existential horror, anger, frustration, and dread. But what I got was so much worse than either option. You know what I felt the day after the election? Nothing. I felt nothing. I didn't feel anger. I didn't feel horror. I didn't feel good. I didn't feel bad. I felt nothing. And what I learned from this is that sometimes when you're expecting to feel something, anything, sometimes the worst thing you can feel is nothing. I expected to feel anger. I expected to feel driven to do something. I just felt paralyzed. I felt nothing. And it was so much worse than anything I had prepared for. Honestly, the next couple of weeks, months, however long it's been, were a bit of a blur. But the next concrete political memory I have was actually when Brian Thompson was killed. And brains are weird things, aren't they? I know, looking at a calendar, that the assassination took place about a month after the election. But it doesn't feel like that. They feel like they were right next to each other, which is profoundly strange given the amount of news stories in between there. Did I just check out for a month? I wouldn't blame myself, but I don't remember. I remember some people online, and the discourse was profoundly different between like online spaces and the media, but it was very funny, people going, oh, well, I mean, can you believe these radical left lunatics are celebrating someone's murder? Which, I mean, yeah, generally speaking, I don't cheer on murder. I might need to check my party platform, but I think we're still anti-murder. What you really should be asking yourself is why were people celebrating this? Generally speaking, when someone is gunned down in the street, the response from the public is not, yay. So given the fact that the response from a lot of the public was yay, maybe you should ask yourself what kind of life that guy lived in order to lead to that reaction. That's not me saying the murder was justified. I mean, I'm not going to say it was unjustified, but apparently YouTube might not appreciate that. But you do have to ask yourself that, right? And sure, the suffering his family was going through was horrible. I wouldn't really wish that on anyone, but at the same time, now they know exactly what their husband, their father, subjected millions of other families to. I feel bad for them, but also, welcome to the fucking club. I think the reason so many people had that reaction to his assassination was because this reminds me of a conversation I had with a friend of mine about a month ago. Sometimes people hear the phrase like kill all men or I hate men or whatever, particularly obviously spoken by women in this context, and they take it almost as a personal attack, right? And the point of phrases like that is not that literally every man is a sexual predator or rapist. Obviously that would be a gross generalization. The point is not that, but the point that every woman does have a story of being sexually harassed, of being assaulted. This is not an uncommon experience in society, quite sadly. And I think a parallel can be drawn to the assassination. Sure, obviously not every person in America has themselves had such an awful experience with healthcare that they would have no problem with killing someone, but everybody knows somebody. If you go on the street right now and go, second, let me grab a mic for a prop. Where's my SM58? There we go. If you were to go on the street and go, excuse me, sir, have you had a terrible experience with US healthcare? What? Who the hell are you? Get out of my house. They might say no, they might say yes, but if you ask them, do they know someone who's had a god-awful experience with US healthcare, I'd be amazed if they didn't say yes. After Thompson's assassination, the next political memory that stands out in my mind was the inauguration. And I remember watching the inauguration with my folks on the couch and chair out there. And again, I expected to feel something. Anger, hatred, dread, anything. And I just didn't. I was just sitting there, I guess in horror, but it's amazing how nothing can feel so much worse than the worst you prepared for. But once he was in office, the weird thing is I almost had this little glimmer of hope. Not for things to get better on their own, of course not, I'm not that naive, but it was interesting because I assumed, now that the shit's going down, right? People are gonna realize they were wrong. I figured when Trump started signing when Trump implemented Schedule F and is in the process of firing thousands of career civil servants, that would be the breaking point. That Sklarmf would go, oh shit, maybe I was wrong about the guy. I figured when he signed anti-trans executive order after anti-trans executive order, that Sklarmf would go, oh gee, maybe I was wrong. I figured that when Elon Musk was on the stage and did a fucking Sig Heil, that maybe, Sklarmf would realize that he got it wrong. And what has been the most frustrating thing out of all of this is seeing people constantly gaslight themselves and deny what their own senses are telling them. It wasn't, oh, my heart goes out to you, whoops, and then he turned around and fucking did it again? Are you kidding me? Are they gonna have to walk around going, Sig Heil, Heil Hitler, Heil Trump? Is that what you're gonna realize? I am calm. So, where do we go from here? I'm gonna steal not a bit, phrase, whatever, from a guy called Innuendo Studios. Link in the down there part is good. Anyway, I made this video a while back called, I believe, something along the lines of "They go high, we go low," describing a common tactic on the right where liberals will sometimes cling to this idea of democratic process, the idea that since the system is good, it can only produce good results, and we just have to keep with more system. It's a fucking Simpsons gag. And when, for example, the confirmation, or rather lack thereof, of Merrick Garland for the Supreme Court, a rather milquetoast judge, which, as he put it, any functioning Senate would have no problem confirming. But instead, because there was a lame duck in office, that being Obama, that was the justification they gave anyway, they refused to confirm Garland, and instead let the seat stay vacant. Trump gets into office, and Kavanaugh gets confirmed. Wait. Republicans were perfectly willing to break procedure in order to get what they wanted. So naturally, what the Democrats must have done when Trump was in office, and they needed to confirm a justice, was gone, hey, but your guy's a lame duck, we can't do that. That's what they did, right? No! I didn't actually write anything on this. What they did was they just confirmed the guy because that's how the system is supposed to work. They played fair and pretended as if the other side did. I remember watching a Vlogbrothers video recently, might have actually been on Hank's channel, I forget, where he was talking about how executive orders aren't laws. This is actually a very good point. Trump's orders are not legally binding. They're simply, they're orders for the executive branch as to what they're supposed to do. But it is possible to disobey orders, and as one, I think it was Thomas Jefferson said, no, I'm not going to look it up, it's something, it's actually good to obey an unjust law. I don't know. I don't have notes. I threw them over there. And I was thinking recently, if the right is going to be perfectly willing to disregard the law, the Constitution. Literally, the first article of the Constitution is talking about how Congress has the ability to appropriate spending and control taxes, and I fucked that up. Anyway, it's literally the first thing. Doge is definitionally unconstitutional. So, if they're willing to ignore the law for their own ends, maybe it's time, if they're gonna keep going low, that maybe we should start doing that too? I mean, I would never advocate for the violation of the law, but that is pretty much what civil disobedience is. So, if I'm gonna advocate for civil disobedience, which I absolutely will. Okay, yeah, I guess I am going to advocate for the violation of the law. In summary, be gay and do crime. I mean, I guess now those two things might actually be the same. I'm struggling. There doesn't need to be anything more in that sentence. Okay, so, ending note. Actual practical advice. Get organized. It's not, I mean, don't get me wrong, it can sometimes feel good, but it's not very helpful to scream at strangers on the internet or scream at strawmans you created for the purpose of a video. I'm gonna move past that one. Talk to people in your community. Go up to someone, say, hey, have you heard about how bad things are? Yeah, I have. Fuck, what if we do something about it? Oh boy! Join the YDSA, join the DSA, fucking get organized, join something. Okay, in summary, touch grass. Okay, bye.